videos are not always easy to make.
We should probably do a blooper reel.
Okay, so it's been a month since we bought the boat.
Pretty much.
While all of those videos of the many things that we've been doing for the last 6 weeks are coming, we thought it would be a good idea to sit down and talk about why this boat,
Right.
and why a project boat.
This is what we decided to do.
Right, so that there's no right or wrong. And as we've been talking to friends who are looking for boats and shopping for boats, we recognize that different people have different tolerances for projects,
Right.
and what they're willing to do. And we also recognize some things about ourselves, that while we knew that we've always been a little different, that has to get cut out. We've always been a little different in the way we approach life and are always up for an adventure. Sometimes our adventures are a little over the top for some people's comfort.
Right.
But for us, when we started looking for boats and we hired the Giffords to help us and we started looking, we quickly realized that our budget was a bit of a challenge, in the fact that the boats that were in our budget were going to need a lot of work, and often their owners were in denial about how much work they needed. So we'd go look at a boat that was advertised as ready to sail, and we'd discuss it with our consultants, and they were like, it's got rigging that's 18 years old, it's got the original motor,
And it hasn't been rebuilt.
right.
You know,
And
bottom paint hadn't been done in like 8 years, and you know, who knows. So the idea was, yeah, you could buy it and you could take it out and sail it right now, but you probably don't want to take it on a major ocean type passage without first of all making sure your systems are in good shape, and they could fail. And when they fail,
That's a lot of
You know,
money.
the rigging is, you know, $10,000 to $15,000. The motor is, you know, $10,000 to $25,000, and you know, so everything adds up.
Yeah, our concern was that if we bought a boat for $70,000, and then we added a dinghy that would fit our family and a motor that was sized appropriately, and we got all of the gear that we were going to need just to sail.
We redid the rigging or whatever on the boat, but
Well, we wouldn't have money to redo the rigging, to replace the engine when it broke, to do repairs as they come up, because the boats that we were looking at were older boats, and while they were good for day sailing, they weren't necessarily good for the things we want to do, and we'd like to cross oceans. So that put us in a situation where we were really discouraged. One of the things that was suggested is that we needed to wait a few years and add to our
budget.
and that wasn't really the way we approach life.
We're a little outside of the typical cruising person that, you know, at least we follow a lot of people on YouTube, follow a lot of people on Facebook, read their blogs. There are a lot of two-people cruisers that are young couples that with no kids that are cruising, older couples who are retired, grandparents, they don't have any kids with them, they're cruising.
Or people with
There's-
just a couple kids.
Yeah, or people with 1 or 2 kids, maybe even little kids. There wasn't a whole lot of people with 3, 4, 5, 6 kids with them, and so
That we're doing it on a budget.
we're doing it on a budget, right?
You know, if we could have afforded to throw $500,000 at a catamaran, this would have been a whole different conversation,
Right.
and a whole different video series.
Right. Yeah.
So that led us to a little bit of frustration and a little concern, but at least we kind of knew what we were looking for and what we were more willing to do. So for our
Well-
background, you kind of need to know what our background is. So
Right.
Todd's a contractor, and he's been a cabinet builder and an interior finish carpenter for years, also general contractor.
You know, we built our own home. We built it basically from scratch.
Us and our kids.
You know, if we don't know the answer to the question, we'll try to find it out. The answers are all out there. Every answer we need is out there, right? And we just got to find it.
Right. So when we saw this boat, when we went down and looked at it, both Todd and I felt like this was the boat.
This boat originally had been listed
At like $35,000.
at like $35,000, and then it got dropped to like what, $26,000, and then he was offering or asking like $16,500 or something in this last ad.
They said they had a bunch more people coming to look at it, and they weren't willing.
They
to
said
do
they
that.
weren't willing. They had other people to look, and I said, well, I would go as much as 12.
And it was really hard to walk away from it when they said no to our offer. But we said no, knowing that basically as a salvage boat it needed almost everything replaced. And we talked about that in our previous video, and we'll put a link up here to that. I have no idea where I'm going next.
You are going right next to me. You're sweating.
Okay, you're hot, don't
I know I'm hot. So are you. We're really hot.
We're dripping.
So we go to Louisiana, as you heard in the other story.
Link up here.
Link. Somewhere up here. And he calls me on the phone after being there, what, 2 days? I was there for 2 days, I think. 2 days. And made a counter offer for $13,500. I told him I would talk to my wife and get back to him. So we spent that evening, we kind of went out together and we talked, and we both agreed that $13,500 was too much money for this boat. We felt good about 12. $13,500 was too much. But we recognized that it was the layout we were looking for, and it has been very difficult to find a boat with the layout we wanted for our family. So we basically talked and said, are we willing to pay an extra $1,500 for this boat because of the layout that it had? So there were two factors in that. One was the layout. Number two was the reputation that this boat had was a good, quality, safe, blue water boat.
The other issue was I felt like this was our boat.
Right.
Like really, truly, the minute I saw and got on this boat, I just knew it was my boat.
Right.
And you know, that's a conversation that I've had with a few friends looking for boats, when I'm like, you will know when it's the boat.
Right. Basically said, okay, we'll do it. $13,500, we're willing to pay the extra $1,500 because it has the layout we wanted. It's a good quality blue water boat, and we really felt like it was the boat for us. It was our boat, and it needs a lot of work. It really needs a lot of work. We've had to refer back to that feeling a lot of times. But going back to us being a little bit religious here, we literally believe.
Or a little more than a little bit religious.
We really believe that we're put here on earth to make changes, make a difference, change ourselves, be better than we were yesterday, and that things that we touch and impact should be better, and we should be able to improve. And we really felt like this boat had offered a great service to its past owners, and it had been through a hurricane, and it had kind of been abandoned, and we felt like this was an opportunity for our family to take this tired boat and recreate her and give her life again, something that we could take some pride in as a family.
Well,
as we did
which
this.
brings up another part of the story for us, is that we're not out to do this just to quickly run around the world and be done. We want this to be an experience.
My water bottle. She stole it.
So we have 10 children, and our older kids helped us build a house, and they learned amazing skills doing that, and our boys still are able to support themselves through
With
school
construction
and different
stuff.
things with what they learned doing that. We have kids that went with us when we decided to become minimalists and went into an RV, and they still talk about how much that affected them and how much they learned about faith and about the ability to do
Hard things.
and how they don't need everything they think they need to have
Right.
a great time. So that taught that group of kids something, and we're really excited that this is about more than just sailing off into the sunset. This is about teaching the group of kids that we have with us right now.
Our next group, our next age generation of kids, giving them their project that will transform their life.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we are talking about is that we recognize that we live on the road less traveled. That
Right.
we make choices that not everybody would make, and that's okay that everybody wouldn't make.
And we're going to do it with kids.
And we're right. So we're on the road less traveled, raising kids. And we want to show people that it's possible with a number of children to go out there and live your dream. And if it's a sailboat, great. If it's living on an RV, great. If it's backpacking through Europe, do it.
Right.
Don't wait.
Right.
As you watch our channel, this is not a DIY channel. We are not going to show you every single step of how we fix things. If you have specific questions, you're like, how did you do that? Reach out to us, email us, message us, put it in the comments so that other people can benefit from the answers. We're going to do our best to show you what we're doing, but we're also going to talk about how we're doing it. We're living in a travel trailer here in Corpus Christi while we're working on this boat. And so that means we're doing the minimalist lifestyle in a travel trailer with
Right.
our kids at the same time that we're doing this. We're not in a house, we're not going to a 9-to-5 job.
Right.
I have a business that I run, and Todd has a couple businesses that he runs,
Right.
and that requires us to come and go and do different
little
things.
bit,
Yep.
yep.
So, you know, we're learning how to sail, we're learning how to fix a
Yeah.
boat.
We bought a boat. We own a boat. We've owned a boat for over a month now, and we don't even know how to sail.
That's not true. But
Well-
we'll tell you in one of our videos about how we're learning how to sail.
We're not necessarily daunted by not knowing all the answers right now.
So be kind as we are going through this. If you see us doing something that you're like, what the heck?
I
maybe-
did call the rear companionway a port
the other day.
the other day.
In a
Porthole. I think it was a porthole I called
Yes.
it. So.
So the reality is we're learning as we go, and we hope that you will be kind. We would love to hear your comments and your advice and your thoughts. So it's getting pretty warm in here with the air conditioning turned way down.
Yes. it is.
And
And I got to get ready for working tomorrow.
yeah, Todd's got a job. We've got to pack up. That's one of the things that we have to do is pack up all the tools that Todd has whenever he's got to go out and do a job. And that's
Because I travel for that.
travels for that. And I am excited to be headed out to crew a boat for the next week to 10 days.
It's one of the ways that Tammy has been learning to sail is volunteering to be crew on boats that are being moved from one port to another.
So there's lots of ways to reach your dreams. If you want to sail, it's out there. Don't wait.
Yep.
All right, we'll
See
talk
you
to you
later.
later. Bye-bye.